Hope we're all doing good. Just make sure you can see my face. Hi, everybody. Welcome, welcome. I know we're all slowly filtering in. Welcome. I hope you're all feeling good today. Hope you're ready to learn something new. We're starting off the new year with a brand new webinar, which is exciting. We'll start in a minute or two. We have it counting down to the second over here on our webinars page. So sit down, make yourselves comfortable, grab a cup of tea. If you are around and you want to use our chat section, let us know where you're tuning in from today. I'll let you know a little bit about myself while we're waiting for the countdown to finish. In 49 seconds, I'll tell you a bit more about myself. My name is Georgina. Hello, nice to meet you all. I'm a happiness engineer at WordPress.com. And I'm here to tell you all about the wonderful world of the page editor versus the site editor. Please don't be worried or scared about anything that's happening in this webinar. I know the site editor is a relatively new tool that we're using, but the aim here is to walk you through it and show you in very sort of straightforward steps what does what and how it relates to your pages and your posts and other things that you might be used to at WordPress. Let's take a look in the chat. Who have we got? Who have we got? Southwest US, that's Sarah. Tiffany is in Virginia. Who else have we got? Seattle, south coast of the UK from Elaine, same Elaine-ish, rather I was. I'm currently at the other end of the country. I'm up in Glasgow in Scotland. So I was down south in Reading, but currently very cold in the minus numbers. So hence the jumper. Yeah, we've got someone from London here. Amazing. Keep letting us know where you're from. We love to see people from all over the place coming to our webinars. So with that in mind, I see fireworks on my dashboard. No, on my browser here. So that means it is, as the site says, webinar time. So I'll scroll down a little bit here so you can get a bit of an idea of how this works. So welcome again, everybody. Hope you're all ready for this webinar where we're going to take it easy for the hour and walk through the site editor and show you how everything works there. So it's going to involve some live presentation stuff, some slides, and also some demos where hopefully everything will work fine. If not, we're going to cruise through it and just pretend that everything is fine and nothing has gone wrong. If you want to just generally chat, please go ahead and use the chat function. However, just to help us keep everything contained and so we know what's going on. If you have a question for us related to what's happening, what you've seen in the demo, if you want us to repeat something that you missed or anything like that, please use the Zoom Q&A function. I have my colleague Jerry here, who's also taking a look at your questions and will answer some. If there are any left over by the end, I will also take a look at them and see what I can do in terms of getting that all together. So yes, please go ahead and use the Q&A function for any of your questions, and general chat can just go and chat, no problem at all. If we don't get to your question at any point today in the webinar, please go ahead and email us at help@wordpress.com. The email address is right there. You can see it on the screen. I'll keep this up for just a second so you can see what the email address is. Note it down. If we don't get to you, we do our best, but even with fingers of fire, we might not be able to get to all of your questions. So without further ado, let me try and get a hold of my my browser, because the way the Zoom controls work, they kind of go over the browser sometimes. I'm going to open up my presentation into a presenter view and we'll go through the page editor versus the site editor. So let's take a look at that. What I want to do actually, stop the screen share, my bad. Here we go. You can tell it's the first time we're doing this, can't you? Here we go, presenter view. That's what we want to do. So Welcome everyone to the site editor versus the page editor, using the power of WordPress editing tools to create your entire site. That is how it works. There's no over-exaggeration there, I hope, in terms of what the site editor can do for your site. So what exactly are we going to be covering today? Well, first of all, we're going to be answering a fundamental question, which is, what even is the site editor? What do you use it for? I have a couple more bullet points on this slide, I think. Yes, how does it differ to your pages and your posts that you might be used to in terms of your WordPress.com tools or WordPress.org if you're joining us from a self-hosted site? How do the tools function differently? And also importantly, and you'll see how this works into the site editor as we go along, how do we use templates to create, I suppose, the look and feel of your site or the structure of your site? Don't worry too much. We'll break it all down into pieces. That sounds very destructive, but just like little chunks, so you can take a look at what's happening there and hopefully form a better understanding of what's going on. So we're going to dive straight in. You can probably see I've got another tab open there. We're going to dive straight into a demo. And just to set our foundations, what I'm going to do here in terms of the demo is I'm going to refresh you and just anyone who might be listening, whether you're a brand new WordPress user or you've been around for a while, just so we know where we're at. We're going to refresh ourselves on how we add page and post content to a site. Not anything super in-depth or, super technically complicated, but just so that we know where we're at. So let's go back to our browser and see if Zoom will let me open up the demo site. Let's see. Am I going to have to strike? Nope, got it. Here we go. All right, so this view that we've got right here is hopefully familiar to you in terms of what the dashboard looks like and how things work out there. We've got your pages section over here, and we've got your post section over here. So in fact, let me turn on my cursor. There you go. Now you can see exactly what I'm looking at. So we've got our pages section here. If you're ever sort of confused about where we're at in the demo, follow hopefully my green circle, pages and posts. So basic level, let's go into a page because posts work in a similar way. Let's go into a page and just take a look at what is on that page. So I'm going to click on pages right here and let it load, hopefully not too slowly. And I'm going to choose any page. It doesn't matter. This is just for demo purposes, I guess. So let's click on the About page. Come on, internet. There we go. So hopefully this block editor structure looks fairly familiar to you. So if we scroll down here, you've got your page title and your content. Oh, with a really adorable cat. What a beautiful cat. I'm a sucker for them. Hence the cat demo site that we're using today. And so when it comes to the page editor and the post editor, we create our content on these pages and posts. So we do that using blocks. So I'm willing to bet this is a media and text block right here. So if I click on it, sure enough, it should tell me on the right-hand side. Yes, I was correct. Media and text. So, this is a block that you can use to create content, put your image on one side, text on the other side. So essentially what I'm trying to frame for you all here, just in the context of the site editor, is that for pages and posts, this is where you add your content. Easy, simple. Hopefully we're all good and understanding. If anything is confusing, please let us know, but hopefully we're on the level with that, right? So I'm going to go back to here because I told you that was a very, very short demo just to get us on the right foot here. So just to also clarify there, when you're creating pages and posts, the content that you add to a page will only appear on that page. So unless you manually decide to add it to another page yourself, that content will only appear on that page. Hopefully you're all still with me on that one. So let's move on. In terms of the site editor, now I know I've just talked about blocks and how they work for creating the content that goes on your page and on your posts. But the site editor also uses blocks. And this is where we need to sort of just make sure, okay, blocks are used for content in pages and posts, but how do we use blocks in the site editor? So it's a little bit different. In the site editor, the blocks create your structure. And what do I mean by structure? So not the actual content of your site, but if you've ever been to any website, think of a website that you've been to on the internet, they'll often have right at the top a navigation menu, for instance, and a little site logo, a tagline if they're feeling creative and poetic. And if you scroll all the way down to the bottom of the site, often they'll have a little bit of extra information. So contact details or copyright information, that kind of thing. Hopefully you can think of a similar example there that sort of fits the bill. And you'll notice that this content repeats throughout the site often because, you need a navigation area in order to get to your next page and go back to the previous page and the home page and that kind of thing. That is like the site structure. And that is what the site editor allows you to create. Hopefully that makes sense. What have I got in this next bullet point? Yeah, exactly. So the whole look and feel of your site using blocks can be created in the same way using the site editor. So with that in mind, we're going to go straight back to the demo. So with our beautiful grey demo slide, I'm going to head back to my test site. Some things to note here. So in terms of the site editor, bear in mind that you will need to have a block theme installed for the site editor to even appear on your dashboard at any point. So for instance, in this demo site that I'll be using, we're using the 2022 theme, which is a block theme. But really any block theme, recent block theme that we've created that uses the site editor, you can follow along with this in terms of your own site. So let's see if we can get to our, our demo site again. Am I going to have to move my window around a little bit, maybe? Let's see. There you go. All right, so I'm going to head out of the page that I was just on, that I was just illustrating for you. Go back to our home. So let's trace our way to the site editor step by step. So where can we find it? I'm going to go to your appearance section down here, follow the green circle, and then, unless I stop for a second and then the circle disappears, great, the appearance section. And then you can see right there, we've got editor beta or beta, depending on how you pronounce it. I would say beta. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and click that and let it load. I see a thing in the chat. Ah, yep. Yes, for anyone who's wondering, the replay will be available for this webinar on YouTube a little later on, just in case you miss anything. Hopefully you won't, but it will be available for you. So here we are in the site editor. Now, I know this looks brand new, so don't worry about it. We are going to walk through what you're looking at and how it works. So we're in editor beta. So straight away, it will load the front page of your site, which is handy. And this sort of area that you're seeing here with the black sidebar and sort of the preview, that's the word, of your site to this side, this is something called browse mode. What does it do? So in terms of templates, which I know I mentioned a little bit earlier, this allows you to literally browse through the templates that are available with your theme. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and take a look at them. So I'm going to go ahead and click on templates, surprise, surprise, right here. And you can see this lovely long list of templates all the way down the side. Now, depending on the theme that you have installed, your list of templates might look slightly different, but not overly different. You have the same sort of general idea, I would say, for most block themes. So, for instance, we've got a template here that's very creatively called Page. This is the one that we're using to demo a few things for you today, but you can customize all kinds of things with these templates. So you even have like a 404 error page. If somehow a visitor manages to navigate to a part of your site that doesn't exist, they will be taken here, and you can edit a witty 404 message if you would really like to. You also have specific templates for search. What else have we got here? Archive is a good one. This will show things like category pages, that kind of thing. So in short, this browse mode that we have for the site editor will show you the templates that come with your block theme, and you can browse through them and preview them. So what I also want to show you here before I move on, I'm just going to go back. There's a thing here called template parts. Now, we don't need to worry overly about this, but they are sort of relevant to what we'll be doing. So imagine you've got your entire template that's like the box that you put your content in. The template parts are like the little pieces of the box that you can put together. I don't know if that's a good analogy. I'm trying my best with that one. I'll show you what I mean. So if I go ahead and click on template parts, you'll see you've got a few things here. We're going to not worry too much about the dark versions. Those are default versions that come with 2022. What I want to just highlight here briefly is the header template part and the footer template part. Now, you can edit these separately to the larger template, but you'll see in a second, we're going to go back to the page template and edit the header and the footer anyway. So we will be editing those template parts within the larger template. So just for your information, that's what that is. So I'm going to go back here. I'm going to go to templates. And so what do we want to do here? I really want to add something to my header, and I also want to add something to my footer, not on the archive page, but I want to add it initially to my homepage. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the page template. So I want to add something up here, and I think I also want to, if it'll let me scroll, hello. There we go. I also want to add something to the footer down here. So let's go ahead in that case and edit this template. So we have the page template. How many more times can I say template? We have the page template selected, and I'm going to click the edit button. So it opens out like magic, nice and wide, and you can see the entirety of your page in this editor. But the main question here now is, how does it work? What does anything do in this site editor? Let me, first of all, take you all the way back up to the top, and I'm going to go through all of the tools from left to right so you can understand what they are and hopefully what they do. So going from here, you've got your site icon. Usually when you click on this, which I will do, it'll take you back to your template. The site icon is usually just handy if you want to go back to your template list, then go back to your dashboard for navigation, really. But if you're editing a template, you don't really need to use it unless you're trying to get out. So let's go back in and edit. We have here the block inserter button. Now, this is probably one of the most important tools you'll have, because of course, to create your template, you need to add blocks. And how do you add blocks? With the block inserter. There are a few other ways as well, but let's go ahead and give this a try. So I'm going to make this template look really ugly, and I'm going to try and add let's say social icons. I'm going to add some social icons to the header of my page template. So I want to add a block, but what I also think I want to do is get an idea of how everything is structured within the header. Now, I'm going to skip over these for a minute. We'll come back to them in a second. But these three horizontal lines here, I had to think about that. Vertical, horizontal. They're definitely horizontal. You can see here as I hover over it, oh, there's my green circle. It's called list view. And it's very literally that. If I click on this, which I will do in a second, it's going to list in a hierarchical order all of the blocks that are within my template, if you like. I'll show you what I mean. So if I click on this, you'll see it doesn't look like much. You've got your header, which is self-explanatory. If I hover over it, it will highlight the header area for you, which is really, really handy. You've got a group here, which I will come back to. And you've also got the footer, which we can't see because I'm not scrolled down enough. Here we go, the footer area. So you'll also notice these sideways arrows right here. This will unfold it all like a beautiful technical flower for you. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So header, you've got a stack here. Let me scroll back up so you can see what's happening. Stack, and then you've got a row. You can see that's how everything is structured. So everything is within this row. And here we go. We found our elements of the header. So you've got your site logo, which is highlighted there. And then another stack for our navigation, a spacer just to add some space underneath, and a site tagline. So you can see how that's structured. And as you're building your header or footer or any part of your template that you're currently editing, this is super handy, and it makes it, I would say, less likely to get lost at any point. So we're going to add a social links menu to this header. Try and get it in a relatively good spot. I'm going to do my best, but no promises that it will be pretty. So let's try. I'm going to click the 3 dots right here, and I'm going to insert after my site tagline. It says paragraph for now, but I did mention earlier that there are a couple of ways to add blocks. You can use this block inserter up here, but you'll notice if you add a sort of an area anywhere in your template, this little black plus sign will also show. It does the same thing. So for the intents of this, let me go ahead and see if this will work. So block inserter, will you do it for me? Let's find out. I want to go to blocks, and I want to go to social icons. Let's go. It did, added it to the right place. Amazing. So just to recap what I did there, I clicked on the block inserter, searched for the block that I wanted, selected it here, and it added it into the place, the area in the header that I had selected. Hopefully that makes sense. So I'm going to go ahead and close this now. This becomes an X, which is really handy. And you can see here, it's very, very small, but it says click plus to add your social icons, it should say. So I'm going to, in this case, no, I don't want to add a block. I want to, oh, no, that is right. I lost myself for a second. So I'm going to just add random things. I'm not a big social media user, but hopefully this will give you the idea. So let's just add a Twitter icon. Let's see what else we have here. I also want to add, I'm going to open my list view. Here we go, social icons. Do you see how the list view comes in handy? If you get lost, open your list view and click on the thing that you need to be editing, and it will open up to the right place for you. I'm going to go here. I'm definitely also a Twitch streamer, so I'm going to add a Twitch icon. But you see what I mean? And then if you want to add your own social profile links to those icons, you click on the icon and enter your profile link, whatever it may be. So that's how that works. And then as long as you're happy with that, you can move it, you can drag it, in fact. If I want to put it under the logo, which is going to look terrible, but I'll try, I'm going to drag it. Do you see how that works? I don't know if it's too visible. I'll do it very slowly. So social icons block is here. I'm going to click it and I'm going to hold on to it. I'm going to drag it up so that it's underneath the site logo. And you'll see when I do that, a blue horizontal line will show. And it will move up as I also move up to show you where it's going to land. So I'm going to click and hold, move it up. Hopefully you can see that. Let's see how terrible this looks. Actually, not that bad. I was expecting it to be under the logo, but that could be a lot worse. Okay, I'm happy with that. I know that's not ideal for site design, but you get the idea. That's how you would add your social links to the header. So in the same vein, I am going to add, let's say, contact information to my footer. So once again, for a little bit of practice, let's go down, I would say, to the footer. Let's scroll down there first. And if I hover over it, you'll see it's highlighted with that little purple box, which is nice and handy. We're going to unfold it again. Let me fold up the header so it's not too confusing. So footer, open it up. we've got a group, we've got another group, we've got a row, everything is nested. We've got a site title here, which you can see is highlighted by a little blue box now. And we've got a paragraph with our proudly powered by WordPress text. So what I think I want to do here is add some generic speculative contact information to the middle bit because it's looking quite bare. So what I will do here is I'm going to click the three dots next to site title. Hopefully you're following along now with how this will work. So 3 dots, I'm going to insert after, and you'll see it's landed in exactly the right place. That's exactly where I want it to be. This time, let's try a different way of adding a block here. So it says type / to choose a block. I'm going to do that. So click in here, / and I want contact info. So let's go ahead and click that even. And you have a bunch of information you can add here. So for the sake of this, I'm going to do all the cat related things. So coffee and cats at, where's my at? Ooh, at cat.com. Very creative. That's the word that I want to use. Cat City, all of this stuff. And you can add as much or as little as you would like. If I click away from this, it should remove all of the things that you haven't added. So there you go, perfect. So once again, that gives you the idea of how you would go about that. So just as a quick summary, to add content to those specific sections, to the, I suppose, the template parts that make up this template, I would click on the related section just to make sure it's properly highlighted and use the arrows here in the list view to open it up, open it up, open it up until you reach the area where you want to add your content, and then use the block inserter or the method that I just showed you to add your content. You know, be creative. You can go wild with that. You can add all kinds of fun things. So I was giving you a tour of the tools up at the top, didn't I? I gave you a demo while I was at it. So we've been through the block inserter. I'll just run through everything else sort of left to right as we go. So we have here a tools option. If I go ahead and click this, you can use this to sort of click a block in your template and edit it. If you want to just select a block without, accidentally editing something, try using the select option. So if you're unsure about, what a certain block is and, how it's selected, you can just use this to select and it won't edit anything. You can see this has changed to black and there are no editing tools there. That's what that is. So we've got that. We've got undo, which will undo something that you didn't want to do in the first place. We know how undo works. We've also got redo if you decide that that was actually a great idea and you want to redo the thing that you didn't want. That's there. List view is our best friend in the world and we love it. And we now know, hopefully, how that works. If we move over to the middle bit here, we've got pretty much the name of the template that we're currently editing. If I click this arrow here, it even says show template details, which is perfect. It will show you very clearly the name of the template that you are editing and the areas, or I suppose the template parts within that template that can be edited. So we've got our header and we've got our footer. So hopefully that makes sense. You can also, from here, clear any customizations that you don't like, and you can go back and browse all of your other templates. The view over here will open up a preview of what your template looks like as if it was on your live site, which is really, really handy. You also have a save button, which always save, always remember to save. We do a lot of auto saving as well, but if there's anything I've learned from years on the internet, always click save. There's never too many times that you can do that. Here we have a WordPress.com specific feature, which is the Help Center. This is not available on self-hosted sites on .org, but if you go ahead and click this, I'll just show you very briefly. We have all kinds of resources here, our video tutorials at WordPress.com, links to webinars, we have various documentation, and if indeed you do have a WordPress.com account, you can contact us via email or live chat, that kind of thing. So very handy if you're thinking of using or moving to WordPress.com. Super useful. And as happiness engineers, of which I am one, we're always here to help. So that's the Help Center. The next thing here is actually really, really handy. Now it says settings, and this used to be a cog symbol if you've entered the site editor before, but it now looks more like what you will see when I open this up. So let me just close the list view and I'll show you. So say, for instance, I want to select, what shall I choose? Let's choose our social links menu, which I can't select now that I've closed my list view, typical. So I'm going to select my social icons. Where are my settings for this? How do I know how I can alter this block? That's where settings comes in. So I'm going to go ahead and click this. And there you have it. There's all of your block options. So you've got here social icons. Again, this will vary depending on the block you have selected. And you can play with styles here. You've got the default, logos only. You can change the shape, justification, orientation, so horizontal versus vertical. I got it right that time. The way your links behave, spacing, that kind of thing. So once again, the settings will vary depending on the block that you have selected, but it's really, really handy. You don't have to keep this open all the time because I know you can see here the editing area is now very small, so you can open and close this as you like, but it's there if you want to know more about the settings of the block that you currently have selected. So over here, we're almost at the end of our little tour through the tools. We have styles. I'll go ahead and click this. Welcome to styles. Thank you so much, with a beautiful animation. What do styles do? So you can probably get a good idea from what you're seeing in the sidebar here. Styles dictates, I suppose, the style of your site. So you can browse various styles here. What happens if I click this? Oh, nice. So zooming out motion. You can change palettes, I suppose is a good word to say for it, to blue. We have a few default options here. If you like any of those, great. If you don't, totally fine, because if you go back here and zoom in very dramatically, you can go to typography, change the fonts of your text, your links, your headings, buttons, that kind of thing. I'll just open this to show you. We have a few default font options that you can use here, and choosing this and selecting font and color options should change that across your site. That's sort of the point of the site editor, to make those changes coherent, I want to say is a good word for that, across your site. So you have text, no, I want to go back here, yep, colors, and that kind of thing. So it's really, really handy for that. And then finally, we got to the right-hand side. We have options, very descriptive, I know. And I would say, for the most part, you don't need to worry about options too much, but I will open it and just show you what we have here. This is tool stuff if you're comfortable with that kind of thing. If not, totally fine. You don't have to worry about it. But if you want to play with code, for instance, you can. If you want to export your theme and your template with your various, what's the word, customizations, you can do that here. It all depends on your comfort level. And if you don't want to use this section, totally don't have to. It's totally fine. So that was a bit of a whirlwind tour through our site editor options that we've got right up here at the top. But we've done what I intended to do, which is add the little site icons at the top. Let me go ahead and close this and close this. Site icons here at the top. And then, will you let me scroll? There we go. And the footer right here, our very, very good contact information. So what I'm going to do now, I think I'm pretty happy with that customization. I'm going to go ahead and save this template. So we very self-explanatorily click the save button. So save. Now, this kind of shows you what I mentioned before. It asks you several times if you're sure you want to save. So if you make a mistake, it's not the end of the world. So are you ready to save? But you can see here, it mentions template parts, and it alerts you to the fact that you have edited your header and you've edited your footer template parts. So that goes back to what I was saying before. Template parts are a separate section, but if you edit a larger template with those two parts in them, the parts will also save. Hopefully that makes sense. So they're both checked, which is what we want. I don't know if I can think of a situation where you would uncheck one of them. Maybe there is one that I'm not thinking of, but in this case, we want to keep them both checked. So I will do that. I'm just going to go ahead and click save, and it's thinking about it, and my site is updated. Great. So that was a very in-depth, I would say, demo of how that works, how we can add things from our site editor to the page template. So I'm going to go back. I believe I'm going to go back. Yes. Okay, we're going to go back to our presentation here. If I can get to my tools. Here we go. Here we go. So we are going to recap this very quickly. How are templates used? So templates can be applied to one page or to several pages. It doesn't have to be applied to just one page on your site. And this kind of goes back to the consistency thing that I mentioned before. If you made a really great header and you love it, and a really great footer, and you don't want to change it, but you're like, I don't want to have to create this all over again. What am I going to do? That's totally fine. As long as you've saved the template, then that's perfect. And you can apply that template to your various pages, and it will all be consistent. It will have the same header and it will have the same footer. So I think I have another bullet point here. I love how even my bullet points are a surprise to me. That's great. And they can also be applied to several pages. So that's perfect. And then we have a bit of clarification here. For templates used on multiple pages, the post content block pulls in that page's content. Now, this is a really, really important part of the template. I'm going to go back to my demo site and show you what I mean. So, you've created this beautiful header and footer, and you want your content to show as well, right? For that, you need the post content block. So let me go back to my demo site really quickly, because you can see here, if I open up, no, I've got the list view open. If I close the header for a second and I go to group, you'll see here we've got the post content block. I can't reiterate enough, the post content block is vital if you want your content from your pages to appear in a template. You don't add content to a template. It's only added to your pages and posts. So you can think of the post content block as the container for your content. If your template doesn't have a container, your content won't have anywhere to go. So no matter the template you're using or editing or anything like that, please do make sure that you have the post content block in sort of the body area, I suppose you could say, of that template. And as long as it's there, no matter which page you apply it to, it will show the content of that page. So definitely worth noting. All right, so we have saved our template, and that's great, but I wonder what the next question is. It's no good having a template if you don't know how to apply it to a page. So I am going to move on to the next slide. And so how do we apply these changes to our content? Good question. I mean, if you've been around with WordPress for a while, you may know that page templates have existed, for quite some time, but we're kind of using the page template feature to apply our site editor templates to pages. So this is our question, and what's our answer? The answer is by setting the template for that page or post. How are we going to do that? With another amazing in-depth demo. So let's go back to our site. I'm going to click on this, and I'm going to exit the template site editor completely now. So we've done what we wanted to do here. Our post content block is there. Everything is in our header and footer. I'm going to click on my navigation, my site icon right here. I'm going to click on it again, and this will take me back to my main dashboard. So we edited the page template. I want to add it to my pages. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to go to pages. I'm going to go to let's go to the home page. I believe I might actually already have this applied, but let's maybe do something to illustrate the difference between having a template on your page versus not having a template on your page. Now we don't need those revisions. Okay, so if you take a look over here at the settings section, which I very handily have open, you'll see down here under summary, you've got your template section and it says page, which is great. But I want to illustrate what this page would look like without a template, or I suppose what it would look like with a template that didn't have any header content, any footer content, no post content block, which is a horror. So I'm going to click on this. And when you click on the name of the template, a little window will pop up. And I am going to choose from the drop-down menu right here, the blank template, which is going to look terrifying, but I promise it's all okay. So I'm going to click this and I'm going to choose blank. And that's fine. And I'm going to update this page. I'm going to view the page in another tab because I don't think I've added any content to this blank template, but let's have a look. If I open this home page with the blank template, there's not a single thing there because the blank template had no header, no footer, no post content block. And without all of that, all you're going to get is this scary looking blank space, but it's okay. What we're going to do is go back to the template section and choose the page template, and you will see the change, or just in general, how much better it will look and more like a website and not just a blank canvas of nothing. So let me go ahead and close this. I'm going to go back to my template section and I'm going to click on blank and I'm going to choose page again. So go here, not page. In fact, I take that back. You see here, it says default template. So with all themes, they will have default templates for the specific kind of content that you are creating, whether it's a page or a post. In this case, the page template is the default template for your pages. Makes sense, right? If you have a page, you want a page template. So I am going to go ahead and click this. You can see there it says template page, perfect. And I'm going to update, let it do its thing. And then I'll open this in a new tab. And once it's loaded, I can see it whirring at me very slowly. In fact, let's go ahead and open it. As if by magic, the content has appeared. Although I don't see my social links menu, that's not good. I wonder if I've saved it correctly, maybe not. But hopefully this gives you the idea. So you've added your page template and there it is, your header content with all of your navigation links so people can get around and see where they are. Your post content block is definitely applied to your template because it's showing the content from the homepage. And then if we scroll all the way down to the footer, you've got all of our footer content. So including my contact information. I think it's because I didn't add any social links to the social links menu, but that's my bad. You hopefully get the idea from that. So hopefully that makes sense. Let me do one more quick recap for you so that all makes sense for you. So once you're in your page, you go to pages in your dashboard, and then in your settings, look for the template section, click on the name of the template and make sure you have selected the template that you want to apply to this page, update it, and you're all set. So hopefully that's a good sort of run through of how to apply the template you've just created to your pages. Let's go back to our lovely slideshow. I think we're coming near the end of our demonstration here. So let's recap. How can we best sum up the purpose of the site editor compared to the page editor and the post editors? So I've got it nice and sort of condensed here for you. When you want to edit your site's overall structure, you will use the site editor. So the look and feel of your site, content that you want to appear across your entire site, like navigation menus, site icons, that kind of thing, you use the site editor for that. When you want to edit the content of your pages, you go to your dashboard and then pages. So hopefully that's self-explanatory. That's where your page content goes. And then When you want to edit the content of your posts, very similar thing. You go to your dashboard and then you go to posts and you create or edit your post content. So I tried to be catchy in the last slides, but let's see. Remember, the site editor is your site structure, and the page and post editor is your content. And with that, I believe that is my demonstration for you all. I know it's a lot to take in terms of the site editor tools, what they do, how they work, how they blend in with your existing pages and posts, but hopefully that's given you a bit of a run through of what's included, how it works, how you can make it work for you, and hopefully make something that looks beautiful and that you're proud of. So with that in mind, I'm going to go ahead and take a look at our chat sections and the Q&A. Do we have no questions in the Q&A? Come on, folks. If there are no questions, I'm going to take that as a sign that I did a really good job of explaining. So on that case, great. I'm so glad if it's all very clear for you. If not, that's totally fine. I can run through. We have 15 minutes or so, which is all good. Question in YouTube, question in our chat. Let's see. I'm trying to keep up with all your questions, folks. Bear with me just a second. Please go ahead and use the Q&A in the meantime while I'm furiously typing. Here we go. What about if your homepage is a template? You would then add the content under homepage template for that. Correct. That's a good question. Ideally, your homepage content should be a page. Let me think about this for a second. I can think of a case where the homepage may be an exception to that. In general, it is the case that your content goes in the page editor and the structure that frames the content goes in the site editor. It can depend on your theme. There are a few exceptions, I believe, but so it depends on the theme, and there are some themes where the homepage content needs to go in the template. But as a general rule, the content needs to go on the page. I hope that makes sense. What else do we have here? Steve Andrew, I have a couple of blogs that I have created on WordPress beginning in 2014. Congratulations on being around in the blog sphere for so long. How can I organize them? Or is that the topic of another seminar? I don't know if we cover that specifically in another webinar, but depends, Steve, what you mean in terms of WordPress. Are they all on WordPress.com? Are some of them on self-hosted WordPress? Are they split between different WordPress.com accounts? That can all sort of affect how you organize your sites. If you have WordPress.com, for instance, you can create multiple sites in one account, and it's easy to use the site switcher to switch between them. If you have a site hosted on a self-hosting service, that's also fine. You can migrate to us. It really depends on your individual situation, but if that's something that we can help you with, or if there's any extra sort of help that we can give you, please do email us at help@wordpress.com so we can take a look at your account specifically, see your sites and where they're at and where they're connected. Let me see if I can just show you really quickly, unless I closed my demo stuff. I didn't. If you have multiple sites on your account, just to show you really quickly, take me back, please. It's not going to. I'm going to go back. There we go. So usually, if you have multiple sites on your WordPress.com account, you can click here, switch site, and it will switch you between your sites. But if you're having trouble with that, get in touch with us, help@wordpress.com, and we can see where you're at with that and hopefully consolidate everything for you. I hope that helps. Carolis, apologies, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Carolis says, Is the site editor exclusive for WordPress.com? If so, are there any plans to have it available on WordPress.org? It is not exclusive. It is also available on self-hosted WordPress or WordPress.org if you prefer to refer to it that way. What you need, just to clarify, in order for, I'll just show you appearance. In order for this to show up in your tools, I suppose, you need to have one of our recent block themes installed. So for this demo site, as an example, I'm using 2022, which does have a block, I mean, it is a block theme, and therefore the editor is available by default. So yes, it is available for self-hosted sites, and you should be able to use it if you have a block theme installed. I hope that answers your question. I'm going to scroll back in the chat a little bit in case I've missed anything. We have lots of highs, recording, template parts, custom headers. Let's see, I think that's all we have in terms of questions. Anything else on your minds, please let me know. If there's anything else I can demo for you, please let me know. Anything that I may have rushed through, because I know, once again, it's a lot of information to get through. So if there's anything I can do for you on that front, please let me know. If not, I can hum some elevator music for 10 minutes. Oh, Elaine has a question. I have a block theme installed, but when I click appearance, I don't get the editor option. Do I need to install a plugin? You shouldn't need to install a plugin, Elaine. If it's a recent block theme, it should have it available. I think in this case, we'd need to know a bit more information about which theme you're using, and also potentially take a closer look at your site directly. So just like Steve just now, please email us at help@wordpress.com. If you have a WordPress.com account especially, we can take a look in there, take a look at the theme you're using, if anything is kind of off there. And we can even suggest you a brand new theme, if you're open to it, that does use the site editor, if that's something that you're open to experimenting with. We're happy to do that for you. You're very welcome. I'm glad I could help. Anything else, folks? Let's see. In the meantime, I know we have a few minutes. I won't drag it out too long. I was going to go back to the site editor and see just how much uglier I could make it look. So if anything else comes to your mind in the next 5 minutes, please let me know. If not, we can always call it early. That is not a problem at all. I can always go back here to the site editor and just show you some more in terms of the other templates that we have. Let's go ahead and do that. I've got my half an eye on the Q&A and the chat in case anyone else has a question. But if you do have a question, please do use the Q&A. It makes it easier for us to keep track of. So let's take a look. What have we got here? Once again, in terms of the theme that you're using, your templates may be different. So let's go ahead and click on templates. We have our horrifying, terrible blank template with nothing on it. Isn't that just like the creative person's nightmare? The blank slate with nothing on it that you need to start all by yourself. But, you know, you can create your own templates if you're feeling super, you know, arty and brave. Or you can, you know, stick with one of the ones that comes with your theme. That's also totally fine. Page we've been through with our mysterious disappearing social links. Archive pages, as I mentioned before, really, really handy for displaying archive content like category pages. Oh, we have a anonymous question. Thank you for your question. We have, which themes do you recommend to use with WooCommerce? That is a great question. I will always stand in the corner of our default theme, which is Storefront. It's great, and we support it because it's created by us. It can be the case where, you know, especially for WordPress.com, you can use, and you're absolutely free to use third-party themes if you like the look of them. But if you decide to go for the Storefront theme, which displays your products beautifully, by the way, we will support it. So if you have any trouble with it, if you need help on deciding what to put where, and you're using the Storefront theme, let us know. We're there for you. Storefront, is it full site editing? That is a really great question. Storefront has been around for a long time. So I don't know. I believe it's not. But yes, let's err on the side of caution. It's not available for site editing in this case, but I still recommend it. However, if you are interested in playing with the site editor, you don't necessarily need to use it. You could use a newer block theme, but yes. We did release quite a few WooCommerce blocks. I know my colleague has linked them for you. So on the button, I love it. So depending, or regardless rather, of the theme that you're using, we released those blocks. Thanks, appreciate it. That are related to WooCommerce. So you can display your products regardless of the theme you're using those blocks. So take a look in the chat if you're interested, and go ahead and click on that link that Jerry shared just then. It will give you a wide range of options, no matter the theme that you are using. But I still recommend Storefront, it's great. I hope that helps, Anonymous. All right, we have 5 minutes. Let's see. I can continue scrolling through our templates. Once again, let's have a look. We have a few large headers, just out of curiosity. If you're interested in the 2022 theme, just in general, at a default, the header will look something like this. We're not using it for our demo today, but if you install 2022 for the first time, you will get a default header that looks like this with some beautiful imagery. So I'm definitely singing the praises of 2022 today. And once again, it's supported by us and it uses the site editor. So you can play around, create your templates. If you break something, you don't need to panic, we'll help you in that case. And it has our great post content block, which we can't do without in terms of our template creation. All right, do you know what? We have 4 minutes left. So I won't drag you on any longer. I really hope that you have enjoyed this webinar with us today. Thank you so much for sticking with me, for all of your questions, for sticking through to the end. I know, once again, that was a lot of information to get through in terms of the site editor, what it does, and how it relates to your content. I hope it was useful. Please also remember that this webinar will be available on YouTube. I believe Jerry posted the link earlier, but it will be available on YouTube for you to rewatch at any time, whenever suits you, and you can pause it and think and write notes and all of that good stuff. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for everything. Please have a wonderful rest of your day. Thanks, Jerry, also posting the YouTube link in the chat for you if you're interested. Have a wonderful rest of your morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you might be in the world. I'm just going to quickly switch back to my template because I believe we have some. There we go. That's what I want. We have some QR codes there and some information on our upcoming webinars. Oh, I think I saw it mentioned in the chat earlier. We have a custom headers webinar at this exact same time next week. So you know how I was in the template editor editing the header section? If you want a really in-depth look at the header area and editing that and everything to do with that, we will be hosting a webinar at the same time Wednesday next week. So if you're interested and you want to dig into it a bit further, please sign up for that. We would absolutely love to see you there. So, okay, that was the last thing, I promise, the last piece of information. Genuinely now, please have a great rest of your Wednesday. Take care. And I'll turn off my camera for now, leave this information up for you for a little bit, and then I will close the Zoom. So thank you so much, everyone. Take care and have a wonderful Wednesday.